welcome to the channel. It is Tuesday, and it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 5. I'm not really sure, but I was up in the city today, and I was going to make a video, and it was raining so hard that I wasn't even going to try to get out of the car. It's just ridiculous, and you know, I don't have an umbrella. I did have a raincoat, but that was about it. But I thought I'd walk around Hangdong here and tell you a little story about something that happened about 2 months ago. And it might be something that you really need to pay attention to, because it could possibly happen to you if you're not careful. And we are right now out in front of the municipal center, and over there is the police station, and you could see the gray clouds out. And as soon as I walked out the door, Lex says, "You're gonna get wet." And I said, well, I probably will. But I'm gonna walk through an old part of the town here, and there's some really neat old houses here that I'll show you as we're walking through. And I don't think I've ever walked this area before. I think I've walked the street, but I've not walked back in the soys. And if we can get across the street here, we'll go. But traffic on this road is really crazy. But eventually we'll get across the street. Hey, I appreciate everybody that bought coffee and supported the channel. Left super thanks. I really appreciate that. And it helps out with gas money and lunch money to operate the channel, and I really appreciate it. And I try to put everybody's name up on the little scrolling board there. I hope I didn't miss anybody. If I do, I'm really sorry about that. We are going to make it across the street. This is an old building. Now there's some old watch shops and stuff back in there. It's unreal. Now, I've not been back in this area, so I don't know what's here or where we're going to end up or anything to that effect. But you can see we have had nothing but rain every single day, and flooding too here, in not only in the city, but we've had it here in Hangdong as well. In some of the low-lying areas. We are in a Thai neighborhood right now, without a doubt. And just an old style neighborhood. And I think we're at the back side of the school right here. But anyway, the story I'm going to tell you about, it's kind of it's funny, but it's not funny. And it really could have been something pretty bad. And when I'm done with this story, I'll tell you about a story that happened in the US when I was working cases that was kind of similar to this. But anyway, this girl, she's, you know, early 30s, 40s, and her they live in the south of Thailand, so I think Saratani or something like that. Here's an old house, and we may even get wet. I will try to keep an eye on that lens to make sure that it doesn't wet up on you. If we have to duck in someplace, we'll duck in. There's an old house back there. I don't think anybody's even living there. Another one back in here too. This is kind of a Thai neighborhood for sure. But anyway, she's pretty successful, and her parents are in their early to late 60s, and they've really never traveled, been anywhere. And she thought it would be a nice gesture to buy them a vacation. So she gets on the internet, she starts searching for places. And let me check this lens real quick, make sure it's not, I'll wipe it off just in case. But she starts checking around, and she finds a tour group in Japan, going to Japan. So her parents, they have never traveled anywhere. They pretty much just kind of stuck close to home. And this was going to be their first big trip. And yeah, we might get wet here, but we'll find a place to duck in. We may duck in over here, and I'll tell the story, or I may get wet, one or the other. But anyway, She yep, we're gonna move faster. This is what happens when it rains here. Man. Yeah, we'll get underneath this thing. It probably won't last very long. Whew. There we go. Leck was right. You're gonna get wet. But anyway, she booked him a tour, and basically it was a tour to go to Japan, to go to Tokyo. And they, the parents, they'd have to catch a flight from Saratani, or wherever it was, somewhere down in the south. I forget exactly what city it was, but they had to catch a flight to go to Suvarnabhumi to meet the group that was going on the tour along with the tour guide, and then they'd all take off and go to Tokyo. And it didn't say how long the trip was going to be. It, you know, could have been a week, could have been 2 weeks. I really don't know, but it didn't say. But anyway, she gets her parents some luggage and stuff, and they pack their clothes up. Now, when the rain stops, we'll probably walk this way, more than likely. But I tell you what, I think I'm going to shut this off, and I'll pick the story up when I start walking again. Okay, it looks like it's let up. One thing too, if you come here during rainy season, carry one of these in your pocket. They're only about 35 baht. You can get them at any 7-Eleven, and you get out here in the rain, and you'll be glad you had it. Well, it looks like it's starting up again, so I'll shut it off again until we get a good break here. Okay, I think we're good to go now. We're going to give it a shot anyway. But anyway, she buys them some luggage and stuff to take with them, and she helps them pack, and they pack their stuff, and she takes them to the airport and drops them off at the airport there to catch their flight. You know, these people are just really excited about going out of the country. You know, this is their first time, and you know, a lot of Thai people have never been outside the country. A lot of them haven't even been outside their own province, you know, let alone you know, go to Japan. So this was a big thing for him. Here comes a dog. I'll bet he's either gonna bark at me. Hey, buddy. Oh, you be cool. But anyway, so she drops them off at the airport. They they load their luggage, and get on the flight to Suvarnabhumi to meet the rest of their tour group. You can see some of the old style houses back in here. And when they got there, after they got there, they went and picked up their luggage, and they had about a 4-hour wait that before their tour guide would show up and the rest of the people, and they'd all catch another flight to go to Narita, and then from Narita they were going to Tokyo. So they just, you know, they're just kind of sitting there at the airport and not doing a whole lot. And finally the rest of their tour group goes in, and they go check their luggage in and jump on the plane to go to Narita in Japan. And you know, the tour guide, he's there with them. He's going to take them through the whole spiel, and you know, the whole trip. Now, I don't know where that goes or what that'll show, but we can walk it. Might just take me back out on the road, and then I can take another thing, or we can go, I think we'll go this way. May catch this one on the other way coming back. I'll try to show you some old houses back in here. But anyway, they get on the plane, and they're all happy. You know, there's mainly senior citizens up there that were going on the trip. And they get to Narita, Japan, and they go collect their luggage. The whole group does, including the tour guide that went with them. And so they all kind of gather, and they had had a little ways before they wait to before they could get their ride to Tokyo. So the tour guide suggested that they we're at the backside. I think we're at the backside of the school. Suggested they get their luggage out and stuff, and get their toothpaste out and change their clothes and freshen up a little bit and go brush their teeth and all that good stuff. So I think we'll walk this way. He's gonna get wet. Hello. She's gonna get wet. We'll see where this goes. I have no idea where it goes. Yeah, I believe, that's a school back there. You have little kids. They would let me come back there and film, but I don't know how to get in there. Have to go in through the front. But anyway, so see, there's their little plates and stuff where they eat. The little dining area back here. Pretty cool. Oh, I wish they were here. I'll come by here one day when they're eating. That would make a really neat video. But anyway, this couple, they go over to their suitcase, and it was a black suitcase with kind of a carry-on style, and they go to open it, and they can't get in it. Their keys won't open the lock. Now there's an old house. They're frantically trying to get in this suitcase, and then they look at it, and they look on the name. It's got a different name on it. They had grabbed the wrong suitcase. So, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. There was no name on it. I don't believe there was a name on it. But anyway, they can't get in it. So they call over to the tour guide. He comes over and he says, well, we can break into it and open it up. He knew how to get in it. And he opens up the bag, and they videotape this. And I'm going to leave a link in the description to the article on it. It actually shows them opening up the suitcase, and it was packed with I think it was 24 kilograms of marijuana. What had happened was, when these people got to Suvarnabhumi, I wonder if I can even get out over here. They had picked up the wrong suitcase. They had picked up somebody else's suitcase. And the tour guide, he's kind of freaking out. Here he is with these people, and they've got 24 kilos of marijuana. I guess we are going to go to the right. And so, smart move by him. The first thing he does is he goes and gets the customs officials, and explains to them, that, hey, people in my group, wow, this beautiful house. People in my group picked up the wrong suitcase, and they couldn't get into it, and we broke into it, and it's got 24 kilos of marijuana in it. Well, they just, customs kinds of freaks out as well, and they start questioning the people, and this was like 8 o'clock in the morning. They finally call down to Suvarnabhumi and get some people on the phone down there, and apparently whoever it was that had sent it had tried to go to the carousel to pick up the suitcase, and he stayed there, and there was only until the very last suitcase was came out and was swinging around there. There was just one, and it was one just like his, but it wasn't his. It had these people's name on it, but it had their daughter's phone number, and they tried to the people at Suvarnabhumi had tried to call the daughter, but she couldn't pick up the phone at the time. And now what this guy was doing with 24 kilos of marijuana, who knows? There's some houses being built back here. But Immigration and Customs in Japan questioned him until about 5:30, 6 o'clock that night, and then they finally determined that it was, you know, just a big mistake. Now, what happened to the guy here? The news article doesn't say. You know, it doesn't say whether he was traveling, you know, going to travel someplace else, or what his story was. There's a big old, people got a garden back here behind this place. Beautiful place over here too. Neat houses. It doesn't say anything about him. Obviously, he was probably going to get on another flight, and if he was going inside the country, you know, he probably would have been okay. Now, I've read that for over a certain amount, you have to have a permit to transport. I don't know how true it is, or what the deal is there, but it doesn't say anything about him. But finally, the authorities in Japan, they cut this couple loose, and they were able to go on their merry way. Now, what they did for clothes, I have no idea. I'm sure probably what happened was, yeah, we'll go to the right here. The airline probably, wow, look at this old boat over here. We'll walk down this way just a little bit. I'm sure the airlines forwarded up their luggage to meet them in Tokyo. I have not been down this way. I'm not exactly sure where I am coming from this way. Now, if I was coming off the main road, I'd know right where I was. Huh. That's not an old ancient wall there. I can tell you that right now. But I don't know anything. Oh, this boat is probably for a restaurant. Huh, yeah. Honeyland. A resort. Huh. Treehouse, lake home, free breakfast. Huh. I didn't even know this place was back here. 390 baht a night. That's weird. Anyway, we're going to turn around and walk back the other way, because that takes us to the street. Oh, pretty neat. Had no idea this place was even back here. And I don't know where it's going to bring us out, back out on the main road. But those people were sweating it for a while. And I think the tour guide, who did an excellent job and handling the situation, I'm sure he was sweating it too. You know, the last thing you want to do is take your group on a tour and they get picked up by customs in Japan. You know, that didn't go over too well for Paul McCartney either. The time that he got caught with that little bit of marijuana, they about butchered him. But they went on their trip, and I guess they had a great time. It didn't say much. He's just flying. I remember days when I could ride like that. Whew. Been a long time. Sure I don't get run over here. How you doing?
Hello, beautiful.
Yes, we came that way, so we'll walk out this way, see where we're at here. But you know, and it's getting crazy here. They just caught another ex-airline stewardess in Sri Lanka, and she had whoa, that's a big old dog right there. She got caught with, I don't know exactly how many kilos, but it was enough to get her locked up for a while. But they say that there's a group that are conning people into smuggling their drugs for them. Okay, I see a drip there. All these little kids out here getting their treats and stuff. Oh, pretty cool. Big old tree. Yeah, I have rode parts of this, but not all of it, but I know I've never walked it. Pretty neat. You are definitely seeing rural Thailand. We are in the sticks. Yeah, see, there's a school that we walk behind. These kids coming through. They're all getting their little snacks after school. They're not even paying any attention. They're so ate up and getting their treat before they go home, they're not even paying any attention to me. Hello. Kids are just darling. Getting home before it starts raining. But it's just amazing, you know. It's just when you read about these cases, these people being caught, it's just a new kind of stupid. I don't know how they can be so naive and stupid to think that they're not going to get caught. And you know, the bad thing is for every one that gets caught, I guarantee there's probably 10 that get through. And it just goes to show that, you know, the barn door's been left open here as far as marijuana is concerned, or cannabis or whatever. And it's probably going to get a lot worse. You know, I don't know if they think, you know, just because they're over here, they can buy it here and get it out of the country and not get in any trouble wherever they end up. That's not the case. There was also I believe a basketball player. Okay, here's the backside. Here's some of what you see inside here. Basketball player that got caught in Malaysia. American basketball player. And I don't know what they're going to do with him. Now, he wasn't smuggling. I think he had some for his own use, some gummies or something. And there, it's just really, really, really taboo. So I don't know what they'll end up doing with him. They'll probably end up trading somebody for him. I don't know if the government will help him or not. Let's see where we're going here. You know, the thing about something like that is, and I'm going to relate a case that I worked back in, gosh, would have been probably 91, 92, something like that. I had been after this guy for a long time, and he was just, I'll just put it this way, he was smarter than I was as far as catching him. I couldn't catch him. I tried and tried and tried, never could nail him. But I really wanted him really bad. Because the thing that aggravated me more about him was he'd sell it to anybody. He'd sell it to kids. He'd sell it to anybody. But he didn't use it. You know, he didn't use drugs himself. He didn't smoke pot or anything like that. He just sold it. And he didn't need the money. He had a good business. He was just one of those turds that you really just want to put him in jail. Well, one night I popped this guy, and I get him real good. A different guy, not him. And you know, the first thing that we do is we sit him down, and you know, our big thing is we don't want to go down the chain, we want to go up the chain. Let's see, we are right across from the hospital, I think, because this temple is, yeah, we'll just keep walking this way. I could walk through there and come out. But, you know, our thing is we want to get the people up on top that are making, you know, they're selling the large amounts and have some kind of an impact, you know. Catching some guy, you know, with a bag of marijuana that he's going to take home and smoke isn't really you know, I don't really consider that police work, but we would use that to get a little higher. And I get this guy and we sit down and talk. And this is my own. It's my own fault this happened. I was too eager, and I let it be known that hello, you're gonna get wet. I let it be known that I was just after this guy real hard. And so sure enough, when I started talking to him, you know, I said, do you know this guy? And I mentioned his name, and the guy was about, he was in his mid-30s. There's the hospital, Hangdong Hospital. They put a 5-star and a coffee shop out front. It's a good hospital. Now I could go back down that way and show you where I usually eat. And it looks like it's gonna rain, and I'm parked down this way, so I think we'll walk this way. And this is your normal 6 o'clock traffic, or 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock traffic, whatever time it is. Here's your pharmacy right here. But when we got to the part of, you know, who do you know that bigger than you, you know, he was sitting there scratching his head a little bit, and this is a mistake that I made. I started naming names, and as soon as I said this one guy's name, he looked up and said, yeah, I can get him, I can get him. And I said, oh, you know, I just jumped all over it. And it was this guy that I'd wanted for so long. And I told him, I said, I'll call the district attorney's office and tell them and get their approval to work you based on the assumption that you can get somebody, this guy, bigger, and we'll give you consideration for that. Let me wipe this off again. Sorry about that. It's starting to rain here, but I don't mind getting a little wet. Those people are going to get real wet. But maybe I'll put my hat over it. I don't know if that'll work or not. Or I hold it closer to my face. I don't know. I didn't bring an umbrella. I should have. But anyway, he says, "Oh yeah, no problem. I get him easy." And so about 3 or 4 nights later on, I interview him, get a statement from him, and not only did we get him, we got his wife and one of his friends at the same time. So he was really motivated to try and help us some. I think we'll walk down this way and come back on that other road, get away from that traffic and all that noise. So the plan was, in order for us to use somebody like that, number one, we have to have the district attorney's approval, and number two, we have to know this guy's basis of knowledge, and we have to make him a little bit credible. Not a lot credible, just a little bit. And unfortunately, a little bit wasn't enough for this guy. But anyway, after talking to him, we devised a plan. I said, I'll give you the money. We could walk through here. No, I think that's just probably dead ends. We'll keep going this way and walk up around. I have no idea where we're going to end up. School. Different. This is a different school than we walked behind, I think. I'm not sure. It may not be. It may be we just come right back into where we were. A big old house. But anyway, we would have to have somebody that we could rely on to tell us that they had seen drugs inside the house during a specific time frame. Now, we usually, depending on the amount of drugs that they saw, it was usually anywhere from 1 to 2 days. Now, if they went in and they saw 10 pounds, I could get a search warrant probably a week later without any problems. But this, this particular situation, I didn't think that there would be that much. And but anyway, we sent him in and gave him some marked money, and don't know why we didn't wire him up. I can't remember exactly why we didn't. I'm not sure, or we did wire him up. I can't remember. But anyway, he goes in and he buys an ounce of dope off the guy. Comes back out and brings it to us. And this is a couple days, 2 or 3 days after I had already arrested him. He does this for us. And he comes back out and I asked him, I said, does he have more? And he said, yeah, he's got 5 pounds of marijuana, and it's right outside of his back door, on the outside of his house. Yeah, see, we're walking right back in the same place we did before, just going at a different angle. Just outside of his fence, he had quite a bit of property. It's kind of grown up and stuff. But he says there's 5 pounds, and it's right outside of his property. Now, I should have been suspicious, but I wasn't. And like I said, I was kind of new. It wasn't my first rodeo, but it wasn't my. I wasn't really all that seasoned in that kind of stuff. Yeah, we're gonna have to walk back this way. I'll cut down the first road that I come to the left to show you some different stuff. But anyway, I call my chief up and tell him, and he comes in. He said, "Yeah," he said, "Oh, we need to go on that. We need to hit him." And I don't know how they do it now. In the days that I were doing it, we just had a form that we filled out. It was basically a search warrant. We filled in the blanks and put all the information into it, and as far as the location, the description, who it was, what information we had, and what we were looking for, and all that. And then we would take and make 3 copies and take it to the judge, and the judge would sign it. And, we had this neat judge. His name was Judge Bennett, and he was a Army. Retired Army colonel. He had been through West Point. Really nice guy, and he had multiple sclerosis. And no matter what time we called him, hey everybody, or what time we went over there, he always welcomed us and opened up his doors and took care of us. And bless his heart, by the time he left the bench, nobody would ever run against him. By the time he left the bench, he could barely walk. He finally passed away about 3 or 4 years ago. Really nice guy. But anyway, he looks at the search warrant. He knows me real well, and he signs the search warrant. And we go back to the office. And we keep the the guy who, here's an accident waiting to happen. Imagine hitting that at night. Going off the road, you're going right in. Phew. Swati cop. Exercise. Big tummy. Nit noi. Not much. Hello. Everybody looks sweet and friendly back here. Wow, I've never been back here. This was a first for me. Definitely not walked. I may have ridden the motorbike back here, going from point A to point B. But anyway, we get back to the office. Hey guys, hey. You're on YouTube. YouTube. That's okay. YouTube, yeah. Yeah, internet, yeah. Say hello. Can you say hello? Swati cop? Swati cop.
What's your name?
My name's Bill. Kanchurai.
My name is Lo. My name is Myung. My name is Jamin.
Do you go to school over here?
Yes.
Good. What grade? 1, 2, 3?
3.
3. Good. You play sports. Soccer? Football? Oh. But anyway, I get back to the office and we had a group that... Ooh, they're pumping this place out. We had a group that we would call anytime we had a search warrant. And it was a group of kind of reserves that would, they were sworn officers, they were well trained, and I could call them anytime, day or night, and they'd come in. And they'd come in, it'd be about 10 of them, usually when they'd show up. And so I put the call in, sure enough, they all started showing up. And Mike How Jai?
YouTube
Name? Unseen Thailand. Okay, Chiang Mai.
Yes.
You'll be on tonight.
No. Yes.
Okay. Do you have cell phone? You have phone? You have internet phone? I'll show you. Nope. Okay. I'll try to come back by and catch these kids out one day and show them. But anyway, they all show up and my boss shows up and we devise a plan to just basically what we do is we just bum rush the place. The law said we had to knock 3 times and say search warrant. And on the third knock, if nobody answered the door was coming off the hinges, and that was for our own protection. We always made sure that we screamed police, and we had flashing lights going and everything like that, so they knew we weren't thugs breaking in. But you know, we hit them fast because a lot of times they'd flush the dope, or they'd run out the back door, or they'd throw the dope out the window, or whatever. In this particular situation, it really didn't matter because we knew the dope was outside. Really, what we should have done is come from the back of the house. You can buy your curtains and stuff, but we didn't do that. Like I said, I was a young and relatively new to doing stuff like that. So we all hit the place, and he's in the living room. First thing we do, we grab him and make sure he's not carrying any guns or anything like that. It's gonna get noisy here. Oops. Hello. Thank you. Window shop here. I don't know what this is. Restaurant. Huh. We've not ate here. I thought we had ate just about everywhere. Now we could walk down to the right here. But anyway, back to the story. We get him and we search him, and sure enough, he's got my money on him, and we didn't want to burn the informant because we wanted to make sure that we could use him again. So I had pretty much wrote up the search warrant that our informant had been in the house in the last 4 or 5 days and seen narcotics being sold from the residence, which was just the truth. But it really didn't put my informant out because I wanted to use him a few more times on a couple other places. Well, we searched the house first, and you know, knowing that we already knew where the drugs were, we kind of saved that for the last. And we didn't find anything inside the house. We didn't find any paraphernalia or anything like that. Just nothing. It was really relatively clean. So time to go out in the backyard. And when I find drugs and stuff, especially if it's in a situation like that, I like to have the person who's going to have to claim ownership, I like them to be there, because it's just better. It's better for the case, it's better for them, it's better for us. That way there's no question as to to ownership or how the drugs got there. Well, all of us went outside and we started searching around the fence, and he's out there. One of the guys is standing there with him watching him. And we start reaching through the fence outside of the property, not on the property, outside of the property. And sure enough, we find a plastic sack, and there was about 5 pounds of the nastiest, moldiest, crappiest marijuana I had ever seen. And he was standing about 3 feet from me, and when I lifted that bag up and showed it to him, his eyes got the size of golf balls. Now, you can tell the look in somebody's eyes when they're surprised. I mean, there's some things you just can't hide. And I think that's probably what saved this couple in Japan. They were, you know, they were just, you know, just freaked out over the fact that the luggage that they had brought from Suvarnabhumi had 24 kilos of marijuana. Well, his eyes got real big, and the first thing he does is he looks at me. He said, "Billy," he said, "I ain't never seen that before." He says, "That's not mine." And I looked at it, and it's really, this guy was not a person that would sell nasty, moldy marijuana. And I could just tell by the look on his face. And then I got to thinking about the whole situation of my guy telling me exactly where the marijuana was. There was little doubt in my mind that my guy had wasted 5 pounds of his crappy marijuana that he probably had somewhere, and to try to get off the hook. And I was hot. I knew I knew it. I could just smell it. And so I didn't arrest the guy. I didn't charge him. I looked at him and I said, "I got you." I said, "But I know I ain't got you right." And I said, "You're lucky this time. I'm not going to charge you. I'm going to let you go." And like I said, I didn't want to charge him with the other bag of marijuana. Now I really didn't want to charge him because my informant's credibility had just got shot right out the door. You know, I mean, he could tell me the sun was going to shine after that, and I wouldn't pay any attention to him. And so, I was stuck. There was nothing I could do. But he paid dearly for it when it got to court. On his case, the district attorney gave him absolutely no leniency at all for help, for what help he tried to do or was supposed to have done. He basically demanded the harshest sentence he could for him. And I watched him walk out the door. I said, "There you go, buddy." And but we knew, we could tell that it had been a setup, and it was my own fault. I pushed too hard to get on one particular person. I should have let him name somebody and then go from there. But by me providing the name and then showing that eagerness, it kind of created the situation. So I was real careful after that, whatever I did. Never had that happen again. In that context. Now, I did have drugs planted on a lady one time that we got an anonymous phone call that she had drugs in her car. And we went over there and found them, and I knew, the minute I found the drugs, I knew they'd been planted on her. And it wasn't, in some situations, with this other case, what I should have done, and I didn't think about doing it, is I should have taken that marijuana and had it fingerprinted. And if I'd have found my guy's fingerprints on it, I would have charged him with possession of it. But I was so mad and so broken at that point in time that I didn't really want to do it. Now we're going to walk up to the entrance of this temple right here, and I'll show you the insides, because I'm going to play hell getting across this street. I may have to walk up to the light and go back. This is a temple where they teach the monks. It's really neat, really beautiful too. They're usually out here working, but it's wet and rainy. They're not doing anything today. It's a really, really pretty temple. There's one of them. But these kids come from all over the country to learn how to be monks and stay here. The one kid that I did talk to, he was from Phuket, and he had been here since he was a little kid. His parents had given him up, and they put him in this temple, and he'd been here ever since. And the monks have raised him. And you'll see him in the morning. They'll walk up and down the streets with their barefooted, with their cans collecting food. Now I'm going to try to get across the street here, and there we go. Good this way. Looks like I'm good this way too. Yeah, there we go. Man, there's been some hellacious wrecks on this road the last few days. Because what happens, you see this little slick, it's how slick it is. The minute it starts raining, all the oil and stuff gets real slick. And there's a place that we eat up the road here. And the last 2 times we've been there, there've been wrecks right out in front, where people have tried to slide or tried to turn and end up sliding and going down the pavement. But that was my situation that happened to me. You know, when you're a cop and something like that happens, you just get a sick feeling in your mouth that somebody pulled the wool over your eyes. But you learn from your mistakes and it doesn't happen again. And after that point, we took great pride in screening our informants and the information that they gave us and their basis of knowledge, so that never happens again. At least to me it didn't. Let's see here, we're coming back up on the police station. Now you can ride up and down this road in the afternoons with no helmet, and nobody will bother you. You can drive into the police station over here, no problem. But if they're out here doing a checkpoint, which they usually do from about 7 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the morning, and you come through without a helmet, you've got a ticket. But other than that, you can ride in the back way with no helmet. They won't say anything. But come out on this street while they're sitting there. They set a little table up over there, and you come through on a motorbike here without a helmet, you get a 200 baht ticket. They just wave you in here, you go in here and pay it, and you're done. I think it's 200 baht. Looks like some foreigners sitting over there. I can't really tell. It definitely is. Huh. Whatever. Alright, well listen, that's the end of this video and the end of the story. I appreciate it if you made it this long, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.